With over 400 celebrity interviews and tons of pop culture nerdiness, Too Opinionated is a safe haven for your inner geek. Find us at meistercon.com or on YouTube under MeisterCon Pod. And please subscribe. It would really help us out. Thanks, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. I am super excited today. I've got actor and linguist Liam Sharpe with me. So welcome, Liam.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
I was telling you off camera, I think you're my first interview that was in Mexico City when I did it. Pretty sure you're my first linguist, too.
All right. I'll take that, man. I'll take that. It's not the most common profession. Well, it's not even my profession, really, but most common title, I guess.
Let's start that way. When did you figure out that you had a little bit of talent for understanding languages? Because I get learning one other language, but you've got like 6 or 7 that you talk.
Yeah, that's a great question, man. It's I was living in Germany in high school for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I've been learning some German because my grandparents were German. I was like, wouldn't it be cool to speak a language that no one around you understands? Get to, tell secrets and stuff. And so I was living in Germany and, I was pretty decent at that point. And my classmates were like, your German's perfect. And I was like, I did not know that. Okay, maybe I should keep doing this. So I did German, Spanish, Portuguese. I mean, Portuguese is kind of like Spanish. You got a really good diving board to Portuguese from Spanish.
Yeah. And, I guess you just kept adding from there.
Yeah, exactly. I love, especially when I was in college, I loved traveling I went to China for 6 months and just got as much Mandarin as I could. That one's a little harder than Spanish or whatever else. But yeah, man.
I was telling you about my wife. She spent part of 2008 in China for the Olympics.
Oh, wow.
They're working. So before she left, she was playing the Rosetta Stone, Mandarin stuff, just nonstop. And
yeah, I bet.
And so me and the kids were able to start picking up a little bit of it. Not a lot, but we could say a few sentences. Now
that's cool, man.
Yeah, well, it's 15 years ago, so the only thing I remember now is ni hao. So
yeah, that'll get you pretty far. It's funny, man. When I was living in China, literally all I'd have to say is "谢谢," thank you, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, your Mandarin is amazing."
Yeah,
low bar, very low bar.
That's pretty low.
It's nice to feel like you're good at something with no effort at all.
Is that the one that gave you the most trouble, or was a different one harder?
I'd say so, man. I'd say so. Yeah, it's just so different. If you go from English to Spanish, it's like, oh, okay, coffee is cafe, or I don't know. There's so many words that are similar.
Yeah,
not in Chinese.
I've always heard that German's actually one of the easiest.
Yeah, German has a few tricks. And once you get those, it makes sense. We have one word for the in English.
Yeah.
No, not in German. They have 6. As soon as you understand the point of them, you're like, okay, that makes sense. It's it's not the subject of the sentence, it's the object. It has a different word for the. Okay. Yeah. It seems excessive, but at least I understand it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
My brother spent time in Wiesbaden. He was there for about 3 years. And that's what he said. He said that took him the longest, was just figuring out what the was.
Exactly. It's like, why do you need multiple does, Just one thing.
Well, so how do you go from being good at languages to acting? How did that transition happen?
That's a great question, man. I don't even know. I was doing my master's in Germany. I went back after high school for my master's in Stuttgart in the south, and I was studying linguistics with more of a computational linguistics. So it was like tech linguistics intersection. And I kind of realized okay, it's very interesting stuff, and I don't want to spend my life doing this. And I had this random thought one day, this was about 5 years ago, wouldn't it be cool to be an extra in a movie? And I just kind of looked into that, moved back to California, started casting stuff. I mean, I grew up in California, so I just kind of moved back there, put myself out, started voice acting actually first.
Oh yeah.
I was seeing a voice coach for singing just for fun, not like a professional singer or anything, but I'd love to do it.
Yeah.
And she was like, I told her I wanted to act. She was like, you should try voice acting because of all your languages and accents.
Yeah.
And I was
She's
like, I
right.
don't even know what that is. Yeah, but I'll try it. And a week later, I did one session with her, and a week later, I emailed this YouTube channel I've been watching because I was like, wait, they have narration. That's voice acting, right? I emailed them and I said, hey, I see you have like a Spanish version of your channel. The channel's called Looper. They do like movie reviews and stuff. They do a lot of
Yeah.
like Marvel
Yeah, I
reviews.
know
Yeah.
Looper. Yeah.
Yeah. So I emailed them and I was like, I could help you set up a German or a Portuguese channel if you're interested. And they actually emailed me back and said, okay, yeah, we are interested. Send us a sample. Worked with my voice coach, sent them a sample, and they hired me and I started their German channel.
Doesn't seem like it should be that easy.
It really doesn't. And it usually isn't. You know, luck is a huge component of all of this.
So I'm assuming you've done some commercials. Have you got to do video game?
That is something I really want to do.
Yeah.
That's not so I've been focusing more on the camera stuff lately, and I really want to get back into more voice acting and some video game stuff. All my friends would be so excited.
Well, and I would think you would be good with just about any of the animation that's out there because you could do so many different languages.
It'd be really fun, man. I'd love to give it a shot. I did do an audition, which I can't be too specific about, but I got to play a dog. Yeah. And that was interesting.
Are you speaking English as the dog?
Yeah, of course. No, it's I was barking. I was just bark. They were like bark, angry bark, threatening bark,
Oh, no, that's hilarious.
pained growl. Like, this is really stretching my my acting muscle. That was for a video game. I'm not actually don't know the video game. I can guess, but
yeah. That's exciting. I think that's I never would have thought of video game work as a thing, but it's a thing.
It's a huge thing.
Pretty good work.
Yeah. That's one of the next goals.
I saw you in Seven Lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
I like the war movies.
I've done a few of those. Seven Lost, I was playing an Italian, believe it or not. There are Italians that look like me. They're not the majority of them, but some Italians live up in the northern Austrian.
Well, that's all you need. It's just a little bit.
Exactly. So we'll just assume I was from the northern Italy for that one. But yeah, man, that was fun. We shot that all in California, but Italy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't really look like that.
Northern California.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, I enjoyed that one. That was one I just happened to come across. And then when I was doing my research for our interview today, I was like, hey, I've seen that one.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So
glad you liked it.
You're in an upcoming Western that's coming on Amazon. What is this one named?
Oh, man. This is La Cabeza de Joaquín Murrieta, or the English title is The Head of Joaquín Murrieta.
That's why I let you say it, because I knew it would sound so much better than me with my West Virginia accent.
Let's hear the West Virginia version.
Gosh, no
pressure.
But I will.
Joaquín Murrieta's head.
The just from the trailer and watching that, it looks very spaghetti Western.
Yeah, man. What they really wanted to do with this one was bring the Western to make it a Latin production. You know, there's not been a lot of, if any, Westerns that are actually fully Latin or Mexican productions. You know, this one was a joint Colombian-Mexican venture. It's super exciting, man. It's telling a part of history that no one's really talked about much. And that's the beginning of the Mexico-U.S. border conflict. Where is that border? Well, this is where that was defined.
Is it I may be remembering it wrong, but does it take place in the 1850s? Does that sound right?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
1851, 52, yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. I love the historical side of it, and we're getting to see it kind of from the opposite side.
Exactly. That's the real twist here. I mean, that's basically what they're doing. Westerns, the Americans are always the good guys. Sometimes they're
Yeah.
the bad guys too. But in this, the Mexicans they're the heroes, and I'm the bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah. What's
Yeah.
what's the title of your character?
I'm Oliver.
Oliver.
No last
Yeah.
name.
That
Just
doesn't
Oliver.
sound too terrifying as a
Doesn't
bad.
sound horrible, right? It's not like
Yeah.
Helmut or something.
Did
But
they like
yeah.
did you get to bring kind of your own interpretation to it, or did they have it pretty well lined out?
Absolutely. I know that the writer definitely had something in mind, and I hope that I kind of could capture that for him.
Yeah.
He told me actually that Oliver was his favorite character, which put a whole lot of pressure on me. But we just got to see the premiere on Monday, the other day, 2 days ago,
Oh, that's exciting.
and man, they did something really special. I'm
I'm
beyond
so pumped
excited.
to see it. I think we're gonna watch it in studio. Like I'm having
Oh, sweet.
my brother's in town, and we're bringing some buddies over, and we're gonna watch it. That we'll
That's
make a
awesome.
big deal out of it.
That's awesome, man. I can't wait to hear what you think.
Yeah. I'll try to take some pictures. You can kind of see
Yeah,
the.
send me some pictures, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that whole experience, it was cool to be the bad guy too. Like, I, in the Seven Lost, I'm the bad guy, but this is a whole different level of
Yeah.
bad. He's a really bad guy.
Is it
just watch it. You'll see.
is it in
Bad.
Spanish with English subtitles, or is it dubbed?
That is how I recommend watching it. That was the dubbing was a whole weird thing. I think someone else did the English dub.
Yeah.
So
I'm not a
don't
big
watch that
fan
one.
of the
Watch my
dubbing.
one.
I'd rather see it
Exactly.
with the subtitles.
It's better. Plus, everything has subtitles now, and I watch everything with subtitles anyway. Not sure why.
Yeah.
But.
A lot of people, my kids, most of them do that as well. It helps them to kind of keep up. I think it's because we're all on our phones, and that helps.
Exactly. Like, what'd he say? What'd he say? Oh.
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah. But aside, subtitles are a great way to learn languages too.
Yeah.
Whether you're listening in your language and reading the subtitles or vice versa.
Well, you hear a lot of people that come to the United States. That's how they learn English.
That's how they learn. That's actually a really interesting topic, man. You can tell where they dub and where they don't. Like in Germany, they dub, and in the Netherlands, they don't. And the Dutch speak way better. Germans speak fine English. Don't get me wrong, but the Dutch speak freaking amazing English.
Yeah,
and that's why Scandinavia, lots of other places, but the places that don't dub, they learn English super well.
Yeah, that is interesting. That's pretty good. I'm not a big fan of the dubbing because the stuff doesn't match what they're saying, and that throws me off. I'd rather just hear it in the language and just read it, and that's
more authentic.
That's fine. I mean, as long as you're paying attention when you're watching, no problem.
Exactly. And so occasionally they'll get a really good dub. I'm told by my partner, my girlfriend, she said Shrek in Spanish is better than the original English, which I found hard to believe. But she said it's a masterpiece.
All right, I'm going to have to check it out that way, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see.
We've tried with the grandkids to teach them Spanish as we're going along, because when they're young, that's when they can really pick it up. So they've all gotten pretty good at least counting and knowing some of like collars and different things in Spanish. So hopefully that helps them down the line. But
that is such an incredible advantage for them to have. It will definitely serve them. I mean, that's how I ended up here. For this role, they needed a white guy that spoke really good Spanish, and I was like, "Oh, that
you can do that."
I was like, "I gotta, yeah. Let's talk."
Yeah. Plus, you get to play the bad guy. And it's a bad guy named Oliver. Which, if I was a bad guy, my name was Oliver, I'd be ticked off just from the name.
Yeah, exactly. No one respects an Oliver.
No, that doesn't sound scary at all. The only Oliver I can think of would be the cousin Oliver on the Brady Bunch.
Oliver Twist.
Oliver Twist. Yeah. But neither one of those really strikes.
They're not scary.
Fear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Strikes fear. Yeah, man. Yeah, hopefully I can bring some fear to the Oliver name. Exactly. It's funny, man. My girlfriend loved the name Oliver for kids,
Yeah.
and I was like, no, it's tainted for me. Like, it would be so weird. Like, why did you name me after your evil
Yeah,
character?
that's true. At some point, they're going to watch that.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, that's a scary thought.
Yeah, it'll happen at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
How long a shoot was
We shot the whole thing was about 4 months. We were there for about 3.5, and then they went off and got some B-roll and stuff. So long, not insane. One of my friends from the same show just filmed another kind of related show in Spain, or loosely along the same lines, and he
it?
was there
Yeah.
for like 9 months. Which,
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a long time.
yeah, I'll take 3 months.
Yeah, that's not terrible. Um, how many episodes is it?
8 episodes in season one, and
Well, it's good.
fingers crossed there may be future seasons as well.
I'm hoping we get future. That's why I said it looks like it really reminded me of the spaghetti westerns.
Yeah, man, it's definitely like they took a lot of inspiration from that. It's that style with its total own flair to it, but exactly. It's a
Yeah.
lot. It's that.
Did they
It's along
let
those
you
lines.
keep any of the wardrobe?
All right, don't tell them. I'm gonna tell you a secret. No, they didn't. But when I left, I had been told that they wouldn't by another actor,
Yeah,
and I wanted to keep my hat.
that's what
So
I would keep.
yeah, it's a pretty cool hat, man. And so I took the hat, and they were like, did you take the hat?" And I was like, "What hat? I
No.
never had a hat. What are you talking about? My character doesn't
I
wear
don't
a
even
hat.
remember wearing a hat on set.
I don't
What
have a
are you
hat."
talking about?
And he was like, "Come on, just tell me. I won't tell them." And I was like, "Well, if you're not going to tell them, then why do you
Yeah,
then you'd have to lie. So I'm not going to tell you." So
I
allegedly,
won't tell.
I took the hat. Yeah, it's hanging up in my house.
You would think that that would just be like if I was putting on a show, I would have just offered the hat to you.
You would think. The ironic thing is, at the premiere, they were giving out hundreds of free hats. So go figure.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Did
Mine's
you get
cooler
to
though.
did you get to do like the whole red carpet thing?
Oh yeah, Monday. Just 2 days ago, we did the whole red carpet here in Mexico City. We had this big premiere, this big event. All the actors, it was cool. I mean, it's just a big reunion. All the actors come back together.
That's
It's
awesome. Well,
awesome.
how was it perceived there?
I mean, we're biased obviously because we are all in it, but we freaking loved it, and everybody that was there loved it. I was honestly blown away. I didn't expect. So I knew it was going to be good, or it was supposed to be good, but man,
It's hard to
seeing
tell
it,
when you're in it.
yeah, it is really is. And you're nervous to see it come out. It was a real, it was a relief to see it come out so good. I mean, yeah, I you just have to watch it. I can't even describe it. It turned out really good.
With your ability to speak so many languages, you could go and act anywhere.
That's kind of that's one of my next goals as well. Do some more stuff in Europe. I think I'm a German citizen. Take advantage of that. Go work in Europe a little
Yeah.
bit. Um,
Well,
that's the goal, man.
we didn't used to get too much from outside the U.S., but now we are starting to get some of that. And there's a lot of really good quality TV and movies
Exactly.
coming, especially out of Europe.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to take advantage of that availability of projects and roles, and yeah, I mean that's definitely after this show. That's one of my next steps is to do more international stuff and domestic stuff. I love the U.S., man. That's my home.
Yeah. Well, you've got that look where you could play several different roles or nationalities and look just fine in that.
German. I could be Irish. I have zero Irish in me. My name is Irish. My beard is red. Everybody thinks I'm
I could
Irish.
totally see you on like a British police show.
That'd be amazing. I'd do the Irish accent. That'd be amazing, man. One of the characters in the show was a wonderful actor, wonderful guy. But his character speaking Spanish with an Irish accent, and he neither has an Irish accent nor does he speak Spanish. So he did a phenomenal job. We worked together a lot on his lines, and he ended up learning the phonetically with an Irish accent in Spanish and doing a really good job. I mean,
That's
he kind of
awesome.
blew me away. Yeah,
That might mean you're a good teacher.
I'll take that. I'll take that. I won't
have, you,
complain.
have you ever worked as a linguist on like a movie or a TV show?
You know, being somewhat new to the whole industry in general, I've really just focused on the acting and the filmmaking side of it. So
Yeah.
less of the coaching. That I think that's probably something I might get into in like 20 years or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's not a
But it's definitely
bad
something
little
I've thought
second
about.
career type of thing.
Exactly. I think if I get tired of traveling and filming, which sounds insane, but who knows? Maybe in 20 years I'll be old and tired. And I'll just want to Zoom with people and tell them how to speak Spanish with an Irish accent. He was
That's
like,
true. With Zoom, you don't have to go to them.
be
You
wherever
can
you
do it
want.
from
Yeah.
anywhere.
The guy, the actor, oh, if you watch the show, you'll see. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. He was like, you know what, man? They're just gonna have you dub my lines. Not true. He did an amazing job, but that would have been pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
But yeah,
super
exactly, man.
excited to see it. I mean, visually, it was very striking, but the cowboy, the Western accent or, part of it is really good. I mean, it looks realistic, like
Yeah.
immediately just from a couple of minutes from the trailer, you're involved, you're invested in it. It's really good.
I'm glad you liked it, man. Yeah, that's
Very
one of the
nice.
impressive things that they did is I mean, it is a Mexican Colombian production, but they got the US aspect of it, I feel like very authentically, despite not being American, a lot of the people involved.
Right.
They were very diligent in their homework, you know.
Once you've done a Western, it kind of opens you up. You could be, once you've
It,
done one, you could do a bunch.
exactly. I would do westerns. Westerns are fun. You get to ride horses. I almost
Yeah.
got killed by the horse. But you know,
Had you been on a horse before?
I had been on a horse. I was not an expert. They asked me if I could ride a horse. I said, I've ridden a horse, and that was good enough. We did one day of training. I guess that
Okay.
was good enough. Yeah.
I guess so. Did you have to learn to like quick draw?
No.
Okay.
Come to think of it, no, no, I didn't actually. I was always prepared. I always came in with the gun out.
Well,
I
I
didn't
guess
really get
that's
the
one way
chance.
to avoid it. Just already have it drawn.
Yeah,
Whatever system
exactly. They go for the gun. I'm like, you like 10 seconds behind them.
already got it.
Yeah,
Were you
exactly.
using a pistol or were you one of these, holding a rifle?
Both. Mostly my character has a pistol. There's a cool fight scene which kind of takes place over trying to get my rifle back.
Yeah.
Mostly pistol. Mostly
Yeah,
pistol.
that's pretty cool. Did you have to do any training for the role?
We definitely did. We did some weapons training. We did the little horse training. We did a lot of cool interaction between the actors to build the chemistry and just get everybody feeling really tight together. There's
Yeah.
two people that look nothing alike that played brothers, hilarious brothers, who are my sidekicks in the show. And I think they had a lot of movie nights sharing a beverage or two to get really tight.
See, I like that
That
though.
was
As
pretty
a
funny.
fan, that's what we want to hear. We want to hear that the
Yeah,
cast got along and were, friendly with each other.
it was really great. It's a family.
Yeah, that's
It's a
awesome.
family. It was really
Yeah,
amazing. I
that's
can't wait
awesome.
to work with them again. Actually,
Yeah.
I wrote a movie and a TV show with a lot of them in mind.
Oh,
And they both involve Mexico. They take place around the interaction between Mexico and different cultures. The movie is on the border, Mexico US. The show is about the Aztecs and then the Spanish come and then there's a
that sounds
twist.
awesome.
Goes in a different direction. It's kind of Game of Thrones like with aspects of so many other shows.
Well, you're
There's
talking
like
my
Breaking
language
Bad
now.
aspects, Vikings aspects. I'm really excited for that show, man. I can't wait to start working on
Yeah,
producing that.
that's awesome. Have you always written, or is that something you're just now trying your hand at?
You know, I just kind of kept like trying different aspects of the industry as I went along. I started singing, but that was kind of separate. And then I started voice acting
Yeah.
and then acting. And then I was like, well, I don't want to sit around and wait for people to cast me. I want to cast me. So I
Yeah.
bought a camera. I started filming stuff, and I was like, oh, this is really hard and really fun. So I started a production company, started like shooting commercials and short films. And then you have to
Awesome.
write to do that. So I
Yeah.
just started writing content, and then I wrote a movie and then the show. And that's been the
And
past like 2 years, basically. Like when I started filming this, Morrieta, when I started filming the show, is right after when I started writing these other projects. So I
yeah.
got to do them congruently. And it's been amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. You've already got interest in both of those?
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh. Well, I hope it gets made because that sounds awesome.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, me too. Me too. You never
Aztecs
know,
and Game
but
of Thrones, I'm in.
right? Exactly. And that's such an there's not a lot of content about
No.
movies and shows about Mexico in that time period. There was one that came out a couple years ago called Hernan, which takes a whole different approach to that. Mine, the show that I wrote, is basically at some point in the show in season one, it goes on an alternate timeline where the Aztecs win, and Europe never dominates the world, and we go off and see what the world would look like
Oh,
in
I
that
like that a
universe.
lot because there's a lot
Yeah,
of mystery behind the Aztecs and Mayans and
exactly. There
that
really
culture.
is.
That
And I
so
think
that allows you to do a whole bunch of different stuff because nobody really
so
knows.
much. So so many possibilities. No one exactly. No one knows for sure. And I feel like there should be so much more about that time period and those peoples. Such an interesting
Yeah,
history.
when you get that ready to go, you got to come back and talk about
Of course, man.
that. Yeah, that's
It'd be my
awesome.
first call.
That's awesome. Did you
Yeah.
have a favorite Western growing up?
You know, I watched you're familiar with Butch Cassidy and the Sundance
Oh,
Kid?
of course. Yeah,
I watched
that's a
that
great
movie
movie.
many times growing up. I think my parents really liked it. My dad loved Sundance when I was growing up, and obviously Robert Redford,
I mean, yeah, Rob
Sundance.
Redford, Paul Newman, you can't go wrong
Yeah, exactly. So I watched that movie a lot as a kid. I should go back and watch it because I'm sure that I would understand it better as an adult. Um,
there.
but yeah, revisit that childhood memory.
Yeah,
That's definitely got to be the Western. I mean, if you that's a Western, yeah.
oh
That
yeah, that's a way that yeah, that's a good one. That's a good
yeah,
one. Yeah, I was a big fan of Clint Eastwood and some of his stuff, but my favorite, and I was a Magnificent Seven fan too. I like Yul
yeah.
Brynner, but Tombstone was always
Okay.
my
Yeah.
movie. And it's more recent. It was like in the early '90s, but it's so quotable, which
Yeah.
is to me that just adds to a movie or a TV show if it has a bunch of lines you can quote and stuff. That's
Absolutely. I mean, when you have quotes from a movie that and people are quoting it without even having seen the movie, that's a pretty good marker of success, I think.
pretty good marker. Yeah, it's not too bad. Is there a genre that you haven't got to do that you would like to do?
That's a great question. It would be really fun to be like a Marvel superhero. And
Yeah,
it's a pretty expanding but small, small niche.
The Linguist.
I would do that. Yeah, exactly. The superhero that I'm like the isn't there like a fish guy and some fish superhero that can talk to I guess fish. I mean Aquaman. I guess
I
I was
mean,
thinking that there was
you
like
do
an
have
underwater person
Aquaman,
that could yeah.
Namor. We got the
Yeah, exactly.
Submariner.
That was really cool. That's actually a really good point. That was cool. It was really cool to see that movie in Mexico. I mean, I was in Mexico and I saw it here because there's a lot of Mexico represented in that movie, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's the Maya, and there's overlap with that legend and my show, but also some of the people in that movie are in my actors circle here in Mexico, and it was really cool to see them just take off. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's awesome. Did you get to do most of your own stunts, or did you have somebody helping you with
We had some really good stunt people. I did a fair amount without risking my life. There's definitely like my stunt double did get not seriously, but he got hurt and had to sit the day out
that? Oh
or
yeah,
2. There's a scene, there's a battle scene, and there's explosions, and he falls off the horse, and I was like, I'm okay. I'm gonna step off the horse, and you go ahead.
I mean, if your stunt double gets hurt, though, aren't you technically the backup to your stunt double?
Fortunately not. I mean, I could have been. Thank goodness that there were other stunt people. Or I think they might have just used that take. It might have looked really good because it was real.
Yeah, well, you got hurt. So yeah, that'd be the one I'd probably choose.
Yelling.
Yeah, it probably looked, it'd be like, boy, that really looked like he got hurt.
Wow, good. I mean, he's a good actor. He was not too serious there, but he sat it out for a little bit.
Yeah.
So like stuff like that, getting shot at, and well, obviously we weren't really getting shot at, but explosions are going off.
That's right.
There are explosions and small.
When you're on a horse.
You're on a horse. The horses get scared.
Yeah.
There was a scene, I mentioned that I almost got killed by one of the horses. A little bit of hyperbole. But
tell us about that.
I was standing, the other bad guy, Captain Love, was on the horse, and I'm talking to him, and they were like, oh, for the angle, you got to stand right next to the horse. The horse's head is here, and my head is here. And the horses were facing opposite directions. And I was like, if this horse bucks his head, he's going to hit me right in the head immediately. And I told them that, and they were like, oh, but it's such a good shot. We really need this shot. And I was like, okay, we'll give it a try. And sure enough, the horse swung his head this way, and I was like, I know what's about to happen. He's going to swing his head this way. And he did. And amazingly, I just kind of like went like this, and the horse like hit my shoulder, very lightly brushed my shoulder, and I just came back and kept going. And they cut the scene out.
Oh, yeah, that's a travesty.
I was like, I hope they have to use that take. Please use that take. It was,
or at least
everybody was like, how did I know? I need to ask them for it, actually. Thank you for reminding me, because I want to see that. Because everybody was like, did you do that? That was incredible. And I was like, well, I didn't want to know.
Horse whisperer.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, could you just not do that?
Yeah.
Wait till the next guy. Wait till my stunt double comes in.
Well, you don't think about it, but horses are big. They're so big, and it doesn't take much. If they move the wrong way, you're probably getting hurt.
Yeah. There was I think a camera operator's foot got stepped on by a horse. It sucks to get your foot stepped on, but by a horse, they have metal shoes on.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, they're not light.
It was okay, but they are not light. It was
you'd be feeling that the next day.
They're very large, and they don't always do what you want.
Yeah.
They're their own creatures. They like being fed. That's how you can kind of direct them, but not always. There was a scene that, they made it work, and I'm amazed because I didn't think we got it. Basically, we were coming down this canyon, and I'm supposed to get off and look at a track to figure out where the people we're following went. I get off, and I'm supposed to get back on the horse and say, they went that way. And the horse is going that way. So I'm getting on the horse as he's walking away, and I'm like, they went that way. You go that way. I'll catch up later.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was
I mean, you got some good skills coming out of this.
Yeah, horses, gun training. That was interesting.
Not bad.
Gun history, general history. Yeah, man.
It's nice to stick on the resume. Then the next one that comes along, they're like, oh, he can already do this stuff.
Can you ride a horse? Yeah, look, I just right there, just watch the show.
Just watch the show.
Exactly.
They'll be like, he doesn't seem to know how to quick draw, but
I'm not saying I can't. I haven't tried. I'll practice.
See, I know me. I would try it one time and probably shoot myself in.
Yeah, I wouldn't try with a real gun.
No. You got to practice that one.
Exactly.
I'm so clumsy. I don't think I'd be.
You do it with the other hand, right? You just kind of hit the
Yeah.
I'm no expert.
It looks impressive when it's done right.
Yeah. I'm skeptical that it's a real thing. I'm sure there's a few people that can do it, but I don't think it's.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's why it's part of the reason I kind of liked Clint Eastwood in his Westerns, because it was very realistic. Like the gunfights it was never just somebody gunning somebody down. It was just chaotic.
Right.
Random people would get shot. They'd stand like right in front of each other and be missing each other and stuff. Which is probably exactly what it was like.
People move. I mean, you always see movies and you're like, wow, they're really bad. They keep missing the hero, they keep missing him. How do they? But yeah, it's not easy.
No, it's like
people move. Yeah, exactly. Like, wait, hey, hold still. Yeah.
Did they have to teach you how to hold the gun, or did you already have an idea there?
I'll tell you another embarrassing moment. Most of the guns were not real guns, for good reason. There was one really cool 100-year-old piece where they like bored out the barrel, or where they blocked the barrel.
Yeah.
And obviously there were no real bullets. But for the most part, they were prop guns. They didn't shoot at all. I never did. And when the gun doesn't shoot, it's very tempting to make the sound with your mouth. So I was like in the middle of this fight scene, and I'm like, and they're like, cut, Liam. Yeah, we can see that, and it doesn't play. Like, oh, was I doing that out loud?
I would disagree. I think that would play pretty hilarious.
Yeah, maybe it's terrifying. I don't know.
Well, yeah, if you're the bad guy, maybe that's Oliver. He makes the gun noises.
That's season 2. It's but it's like shockingly tempting to do. I mean, when the gun fires, it makes the sound, right? If you have that gun, it's easy.
Yeah.
If you don't, you have to make the movement, and I don't know, it just comes out naturally.
Yeah, it just comes out. We've all played those games. That's how.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works. That's how fake guns work.
So, does your Oliver character? Could we possibly see him in season 2? Possibly. I don't want to ask. Did you survive season 1? But I guess that's kind of what I'm asking.
Can't give too much away, but possible, and I really hope so. Depends if there's a season 2, but based on what I've seen, I think there will be.
I think
there's definitely a chance. I think so too. And there's definitely a chance.
You might be starting a whole new Western revolution.
We'll go in an alternate timeline. I'd go take over Canada.
I will say, I don't think I have seen a Canadian Western.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to write it down.
There you go. Start writing.
Exactly. I was like, this morning, I think I had a dream or something. I just woke up and I was like, what if Oliver, like, the context, 1853, the U.S. sent its navy to Japan and like forcibly forced them to trade. That was the exact same time as we're doing this in Mexico. It's basically because the U.S. took California and they're like, oh, now we have a Pacific coast. We're going to Japan. And I was like, what if Oliver went on the ship? And I'm like, got this whole other movie idea.
Well, you could do a lot with Oliver, because with that timeline, I mean, he could have crossed over and fought in the Civil War 10 years later or whatever.
Honestly,
you could do a lot with him.
Exactly. That's very true. I'm not sure he would have been on the right side of that, but yeah, he might have been there.
Well, he may have been out there traveling the country just looking out for himself, not fighting with either side.
Probably. Just
keep throwing these ideas out there till somebody grabs
them. Yeah, I'm writing them down. I'm writing them all down. Yeah, man.
Well, Liam, thank you for coming on the show. I'm really excited to watch this Western that comes out Friday. I can't believe it's here already.
Me either. Except it's
middle of February.
So, like, for me, it feels like it's been so long in coming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure. When did you finish? Wrapping the shoot? How long ago?
We wrapped at the end of 2021, late October. So it's been almost a year and a half.
Yeah.
Which means that they put a lot of effort and time and just care into making this.
Yeah, that has to make you feel good. If they turned around 3 weeks later, it was out. You'd be like, oh, I don't know.
I've done those movies. That's a different kind of project, and that could be its own great thing. This is something really special.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
excited.
You say it much better than me, so give us the name one more time.
You got it. La Cabeza de Joaquin Murrieta, February 17th.
And what is that in the English version of that's called what?
The Head of Joaquin Murrieta.
Oh, The Head of.
And I believe that is the English title that Amazon will use. Personally, I think it sounds better in Spanish.
It does. I think it sounds cool using the Spanish.
I think they should have just left it, but it's not up to me.
Yeah.
But I
need to make some phone calls.
I get why they did it. Yeah, exactly. I told them. I've given them many suggestions, very few of which. So like, thank you for your input.
Well, I think, as an audience, that we've gotten a little more sophisticated, because you're exposed to so much more.
Absolutely.
Now, you don't just have the 3 networks anymore. You've got all these streamers. You're getting stuff from all over the world. And just as an audience, we're pretty educated on that stuff. So it doesn't really phase us anymore.
Exactly. It's a beautiful thing, really. I mean, having so much, such a broad exposure. It's wonderful.
The hard part's just figuring out what you're actually going to put your time into.
That's the hard part. It's like, I'm really bad at that. I have a whole list and I look at it and I'm like, I don't want to watch any of that. I just want to watch an action movie or I want to watch a Western.
I have a problem with, I tend to, especially if I'm like a little under the weather, I watch the same things over and over. Yeah. It's like comfort food.
I get that.
Yeah. And a lot of it's Westerns.
Yeah. I watched a lot of Westerns to prep for this.
Oh, I bet you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of good ones out there.
There are. There's a lot.
And now you're adding to it. We don't get enough Western TV shows.
That's the crazy thing,
exciting.
Man. I like every time someone says that, I'm like, wow, you're right. We are adding to that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah. That's exciting though. So
excited.
Liam, before we wrap up, a couple little things. Anything else you're working on that we can keep an eye out?
Yeah, man. I mean, mainly those two projects I mentioned, the show and the movie. I think planning to make the movie first. The show, I think, is a bigger undertaking, and you really need to do that justice. Like that show that I wrote about the Aztecs and Mexico and the interact, that needs to be really good, really well researched, really just. We need to do it justice.
Yeah, you don't want to half-ass that one. You got to put some time.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. The movie is something I can do if need be more as an independent film. We're still trying to figure out who's going to make it. So basically,
what's the genre for the movie?
It's drama, I guess. It's not like Western per se. It takes from a lot of different things. I mean, it'll take. Have you ever seen Better Call Saul?
Yeah, of course. Love
it's not that story, but I love the expansive desert shots and just a lot of the cinematography pull from that for some aspects of it. So in that sense, it is, in that sense, it's Western. It has Western visuals occasionally, but it's not a Western, Yeah, man. So that one I can make first. It'll be a amazing but smaller undertaking than the show, which is this behemoth, So do that first, and then.
I mean, do you have aspirations to step behind the camera? Will you do some directing at some point?
Well, that's the thing, man. I've got my production company. I do shoot a lot of like behind the camera stuff, cinematography. Yeah. So directing is fun. At this point, it's not my main ambition, but I think for this movie, I will direct it and see how I like it. I've directed shorts and commercials and stuff. This is a whole different beast, directing a whole feature, but it's gonna be really fun. And really, these projects came out of wanting to act. So I wrote them to act in them, and then they became their whole own thing. So, but the plan is in the show, it's about Aztec. So I'm obviously not the main character, but I wrote myself a role in that as well. To be there. it's not about me, and it shouldn't be.
But you should
I want
be
to be
in
part
it.
of it, exactly.
That's right.
I love acting and I want to be a part of it. In the movie, I do play the main character, which is about, in a very quick nutshell, it's a man who lives in Arizona, and he's not the friendliest toward immigrants. And he ends up having to go through a similar experience as a lot of them have had to go through,
Oh,
and it
that's
completely
awesome.
changes his experience. He loses the ability to speak English and through an injury, and it completely changes his world, and he has to like relearn everything basically.
Oh, I
I won't
love
go
that.
too
That's
into
a good
detail,
angle.
but yeah. So I
Yeah,
played
yeah.
that character, that the guy who learns to be a better person, basically.
That seems like a role you were meant to play.
I think that's good, right? That's a good thing, right?
That is. That's a good thing. What's
Yeah.
the name of your company?
It's called Sharpe Studios.
Oh,
SH
very
is like my
nice.
name. SHRPE. Yeah, man. We do all kinds of different stuff. I personally love doing more run and gun style stuff whenever I can. A lot of times you need to shoot in a studio with a big setup. Amazing. Love it. But it's so fun to have a small setup and just be in action, whatever it
Yes.
is, whether that's for a commercial or I don't know, you're shooting a car, like right up at the car, you're hanging out the car window next to it, filming it. That's amazing. I just love that. So yeah, we do all that stuff, man. And it's like I said, I kept trying and seeing and then wanting to try all these different aspects of the whole world of film and TV. And I haven't really found one I don't like yet, you know? But I
I
have to
love the
focus.
fact.
I can't do everything.
Well, you can't do everything, but I love the fact that you didn't just sit and wait for opportunity to come. You kind of went out there and made your own opportunity.
It seemed like such a poor choice for me. It works for a lot of people, and
Yeah.
that's amazing. And I just felt like if I just wait around, I'm gonna get like depressed just sitting there, I don't know. I couldn't do it. So I just had to keep busy. And that led to great things.
I love that. I think that's
Yeah.
terrific. So last thing, Liam, before we go, where
Yeah.
can we find you on social media so we can keep track of you?
Yeah, man. Instagram is kind of my go-to. That's at Liam Sharpe, SHARPE B, because my name is actually Sharpe Burmester because my dad made a mistake on my birth certificate. Fun little side story. So the B is just kind of an homage to that. The German side of the family,
I
Burmester.
kind of love that.
Throw that in there. Yeah. Liam Sharpe sounds nice, but throw in the B on Instagram to
Well,
give a little homage.
if you're working in Germany, you should definitely put that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty great. Well, Liam, thank you so much, and you definitely got to come back. You got
I'd love to, man.
projects. I love the sound of them, especially the show. That sounds awesome. You got to come back and talk about them once you get those up and running.
It's been a real pleasure. I'd be really happy to do that, man. We'll set that
or
up.
for
I'll let
season
you know
two.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, season 2, man. Season 2. Once that's happening, I'll be back.
I think once we send them the picture of our 15 people watching it, that's probably going to push it over the edge.
That's all that Amazon's really looking for, I think.
Yeah, that's it. And they're like, yeah, we're in.
Post it, man. Post it, tag them. They'll love it.
All right, hold on. How fun was that? Big fan of Liam's. New fan, but big fan. I think he is super talented and just getting started. We're going to see him in so much. So the Western is La Cabeza de Joaquin Murrieta. I hope I got that close. But I'm super excited to check it out. It's going to be out this Friday on Amazon. So definitely check that out. Lend it your support because we want more of the Western series coming. So let's support this one and support Liam in his 7 or 8 languages. He speaks like German, English, Spanish, Portuguese, French, Italian, Mandarin. It's crazy. I'm so impressed with that. Obviously, a very talented gentleman involved in a lot of things. Sounds like he's got some things in the hopper that could be really exciting and big. Really enjoyed that interview. I hope you did as well. If this is your first time finding us, thank you for tuning in. A few things you could do to help support us if you're so inclined. We'd appreciate that. If you're watching, it's MeisterCon, or it's YouTube, MeisterCon Pod. If you could just smash that subscribe button, we would really appreciate it. It would help us out so much. If you're listening, wherever you listen to your podcast at, whatever application you're using, just subscribe there. That'll help us as well. Today we released episode 530, and you can find all of those audio and video on our website, meistercon.com. It'll also let you know if we're doing anything in studio, if we're covering a convention, if we're going on location, whatever we got going on, it'll be on the website, meistercon.com. So definitely check us out there. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.